YC upgrade to Locko. Welcome into One-on-One live on Centerlink Channel 112, live from Studio 318. We're coming off a very successful weekend for Oklahoma State athletics. A lot going on in the NFL. The NBA, the Lakers are shutting just about everyone down. And in the second segment, we have the bullpen to talk about everything going on in the baseball world. I'm Reed Spencer, joined by my co-host Logan Mosher. As always, we finally got the deal.
Finally.
That everyone's been talking about for seems like months, or since he walked out with his fur coat on against the Bengals in Week 17. Antonio Brown has been traded from the Pittsburgh Steelers to the Oakland Raiders for a 3rd and a 5th round pick.
That shocked me that they got that little in return for Antonio Brown.
Well, Mike Mayock and John Gruden pulled off quite the trade. Obviously, both former TV analyst, I guess. Mike Mayock worked for NFL Network. Brown got a new 3-year deal worth up to $54 million, and $30 million of it is guaranteed. Everyone's saying that the Raiders fleeced the Steelers. I don't think they fleeced them. The Steelers obviously could have got more from other teams, but everyone's applauding Antonio Brown because, oh, he got what he wanted. Well, sure, but he was a jerk about it.
Yeah.
He's not a good teammate, and not that many people like him. As anyone, I'm just so utterly shocked that his agent, obviously his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, has to say this, but Antonio Brown he's excited to be a Raider. Has he been to Oakland, California? Has he played in the He has played in the Coliseum, and his quarterback got hurt, and they didn't have adequate X-ray machines to get Ben Roethlisberger back in the game. That's where he's going to be playing for a year.
Yeah.
They have never had a receiver go over 1,200 yards. They have never had a receiver have 1,500 yards, which he's had all 9 of his seasons. You can tell me that they fleeced the Steelers, but the Steelers are just looking at the Oakland Raiders and saying, good luck with that attitude.
Yeah. I wouldn't say they got fleeced. I definitely think they sold Antonio Brown short. I'm surprised they couldn't get some kind of first-round pick protected, swap or something, because Oakland has plenty of those. I think they have 2 this year and 2 next year. So I was kind of shocked at just how little they got in return. But when Antonio Brown's going on TV everywhere, the shop, on ESPN, he did an interview, and he's saying the kind of stuff he's saying out there, just lowering his trade value every day, it seemed like. I think Pittsburgh did about as good as they could. I'm with you. I don't know how successful Antonio Brown's going to be in Oakland. I was studying for an exam I have later today with Barrett on Saturday, and I said, Antonio Brown's going to put up Randy Moss numbers in Oakland, and Barrett was like, that's stupid. Randy Moss was great. But I was trying to say Randy Moss as a Raider.
Yeah.
I don't know how well he's going to be able to perform out there. Derek Carr's not Ben Roethlisberger.
No, he's far from
I don't even know if John Gruden believes in Derek Carr at this point. He could possibly not be the quarterback for the first game. It could be Kyler. It could be almost anyone at this point. They could trade him for whatever. I don't know. But I'll be very interested to see come October, November, how Antonio Brown's attitude is. I'm sure you saw the video he had on Twitter of him, doing push-ups.
The weirdest thing ever.
Yeah, they were celebrating. It looked like they were at some kind of water park. I'm sure that was his backyard, and he has a really nice pool or something. But he was doing push-ups, celebrating. He's a Raider, excited to come to Oakland. You kind of mentioned the situation of the stadium and the facilities in Oakland. So I saw this as more of a move of they're not trying to win with Antonio Brown. They're trying to have star power going to Vegas.
Well, I think you make a great point. They're only going to be in Oakland for a year. But when you can't take Drew Rosenhaus' quote seriously. He's his agent. He's not going to bash what he's doing. Drew Rosenhaus is getting paid well off this deal as well.
Right.
But he called John Gruden a great offensive mind. They were 23rd in the league in offense.
Reed, if you just really squint your eyes and look at the calendar and you see it's 2000, he's not wrong.
Even then, that Tampa team,
that's true. That was all defense,
which John Gruden won with another coach and GM's players.
Yeah,
and that's the only success he had. I don't understand why everyone's like, oh, this is the greatest trade ever for Oakland. It's a good trade. they obviously are the winner in this deal, and it's a 3-year deal. They're paying him a lot. But he's got a bad attitude. Derek Carr had lost that locker room last year. Am I supposed to believe that they're going to be compatible, that they're just going to be a match made in Oakland heaven? No. John Gruden can't coach in 2019. Mike Mayock is an NFL analyst. Granted, he knows a lot more than me, but he hasn't been entrenched in that in a long, long time. You could give them 32 first-round picks, and I would not be afraid of the Oakland Raiders. No one should be afraid of the Oakland Raiders because they can't do anything right. And Antonio Brown, he said, Drew Rosenhaus, oh, he's going to a historic franchise. No. Used to be. Now, he just left one of the most historic franchises.
Yeah.
Good luck with the dysfunction in Oakland.
Do you think Oakland tries to, I guess, double down and get Le'Veon Bell?
I think they'll try, but I don't think they can give him the guaranteed money that he wants. I think that's probably the Jets. They have $100 million to play with in cap space. They can front load that and give him. Listen, you're not going to sign a good deal with Le'Veon Bell because, I mean, listen, Antonio Brown's 31 as well. He's going into his 10th season.
Yeah.
That's a ticking time bomb as well. Running backs are even on a shorter period. Plus, he just set out a year, and which was crazy. I was watching ESPN last night, and they were talking to Jeremy Fowler, the Steelers reporter. And he said, well, he's going to want more money now because he's trying to make back what he lost.
Yeah.
I'm not paying him that. That's your own fault, man. Like, no. It's just, it's incredible. But maybe I'm in the minority. Maybe I'm not thinking about it clearly. But I just don't imagine anything working out in Oakland. I just don't.
Yeah, I don't see it working either. Everyone talks about how many draft picks they have and how it's awesome they have all these assets, and they didn't even have to give up a first-round pick for Antonio Brown. Who are they going to like? Can John Gruden draft guys? John Gruden loved Nathan Peterman.
Yeah, it was his favorite quarterback.
And he said Denver getting Case Keenum was the #1 acquisition of the offseason last year. So I don't know. I can't trust this guy to draft players. I don't care if he has picks 1 through 30. I don't know if he can build a good team.
Who did he draft last year? Nobody knows.
Yeah.
I mean, John, you can talk about this stuff. You can be a good analyst. John Gruden has a smart football mind, but I don't think he's adapted the game that a lot of people have. He was out of it for too long, and I don't know if he completely understands how the game works from that standpoint.
Yeah.
I fully expect this to be a disaster with Antonio Brown. He may be productive. It may work out for Antonio Brown, but I don't feel like it's going to translate to any wins.
No, I don't think this is going to lead to a lot of success. I think it'll lead to a lot of jersey sales, and they'll have fans going with them to Las Vegas. How does this work out for the Steelers though? Like, obviously Juju Smith-Schuster's now the #1. Who moves into Juju's spot? What does this team look like next year?
Well, obviously you have the former Oklahoma State Cowboy, James Washington. I don't know that James Washington, obviously, stop if you think, oh, he's going to replace Antonio Brown. No. Antonio Brown's the best wide receiver in the league. You don't just replace him. But the Steelers have drafted well forever.
Yeah.
Look at where they got Antonio Brown. Obviously, they're not going to be quite as productive. But for a franchise that once didn't know how to handle him, but got Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, drafted Juju Smith-Schuster, there's plenty of offensive weapons there, and I fully expect them to kind of rejuvenate that offense in the draft. So I'm not worried about the Steelers. I don't think they're going to go win a world championship. They didn't make the playoffs last year.
Right.
So
what do you think they're going to do with Big Ben? Are they going to extend him? Are they going to start drafting a quarterback for the future?
I would have already started drafting a quarterback, and maybe they did with Mason Rudolph. I don't know.
Think
they drafted him in the 3rd round last year, but yeah, you're going to have to go get that replacement. But I don't know if you can. It's going to be an Aaron Rodgers type Brett Favre deal if you get to that point because he doesn't want to work with anybody.
Yeah.
He's got a bad attitude, and it's hard for him to stay healthy. So he may have a couple years left, and he's still productive, but you worry about his age and his attitude.
I'll be interested to see how productive he is without AB. I think
he won a Super Bowl without Antonio Brown.
That's true, but that was a long time ago.
Multiple, actually. But he had the lowest QBR in NFL Super Bowl history with a win, but he still pulled it off.
Yeah.
And then lost the one to the Packers in 2010. But I don't know. I think the Steelers are going to be okay, but their problems, as much as their problems were Antonio Brown, their problems are still Mike Tomlin, Ben Roethlisberger, the immaturity that culture that has built itself up for the last
Yeah.
5 or 6 years is still very prevalent. So I don't know if you're the Rooney family what you do, but I don't think they're close to winning a Super Bowl. But they're not going into Cleveland Brown territory.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see. But I think it's a good deal for the Raiders. But I'm going to pump the brakes on saying they got fleeced, and because honestly he dictated it. I mean,
Yeah.
and players are applauding him, and if you're about player empowerment, it's great. But I just don't think you went about it the right way. And maybe going about it the right way, you don't get what you want. So maybe he should be applauded for that. But certainly probably lost the respect of a lot of people.
Especially in Pittsburgh. I feel like he definitely lost a lot of respect. And maybe if he had handled it differently, he's in a better situation. Maybe more good teams are willing to say, you know what, we'll give up some higher assets than a third and a fifth to get this guy because he's worth more than that. On paper, he's worth more than that. So
Yeah.
you got to think about how he handled himself and how people around the league that aren't the Steelers or the Raiders view him now.
Well, hopefully Derek Carr can not cry on the field. I mean, seriously, that you can say that as a joke. He legitimately lost the locker room on that.
Yeah.
People are over him. And don't forget that the Raiders' offensive line stepped to the side and let him get sacked, and got sacked 51 times last year. So questions about how much people really like Derek Carr. But going on elsewhere in the AFC West, the Chiefs released linebacker Justin Houston, the 4-time Pro Bowler. He just turned 30. He was due over $15 million right against the cap. So it was probably a smart choice. They tried to find trade suitors. No one was willing to pick up that $15 million option. He did have 22 sacks in 2014, 1 sack off the NFL record. They signed him at the time to the richest defensive player contract in NFL history, 78.5 career sacks. I think it's probably time. Obviously I'm a Chiefs fan, but the $15 million for a guy that hasn't played 16 games and since he signed that contract, that's a steep amount of money.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think he finds another spot? What do you think the Chiefs are going to do with that money they saved? What are your thoughts?
Well, it would help sign Landon Collins, that's for sure. They need to address that safety spot because they're going to have an all-defensive draft basically.
Yeah.
But they still have to replace Justin Houston. They have some talent there, but not up to quite his caliber. But now you have a little bit more wiggle room to go get a Landon Collins. Eric Weddle's already off the market, but the Colts, Raiders, Falcons, there's some teams that are going to be interested in. The Chiefs probably ideally don't want him in the AFC West, and they probably don't want him in the AFC at all.
Right.
But that's not up to them anymore, And they tried to restructure with him, but when you've signed that dotted line for the $15 million, I wouldn't restructure either.
Oh yeah.
But he's not going to get $15 million anywhere else he goes.
Yeah. Where does he go? Where's his next team?
Obviously, you've got Chris Ballard, the GM in Indianapolis, is a former Chiefs executive. You've got John Dorsey, former Chiefs GM, who obviously didn't draft him, but is still there in Cleveland that knows him well. I think Oakland and Atlanta and Indianapolis are his best spots. I could definitely see Indianapolis.
Oakland does need a pass rush. It's unfortunate they just never had that guy.
Yeah. Well, now they've got all these first-round picks that they're going to turn the franchise around in. No, wait. Davis still owns the Raiders, and they still owe John Gruden $90 million.
Oh, my goodness.
$90 million for John Gruden. Well, $100 million. We're 1 year in. So the Chiefs trade for the Raiders are sending a simulated guard to the Jets as well. The Chiefs signed Carlos Hyde, Danny Amendola, going from South Beach to Lake Erie Beach in Detroit. Former Patriots assistant coach. Obviously, Matt Patricia's up there, so a little bit reunited.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a quick break, come back, make a call to the bullpen. We'll be right back after this.
One-on-One is brought to you by Tinker Federal Credit Union. Visit facebook.com/TinkerFCU. While you're there for your family, we're there for you. Tinker Federal Credit Union. And OSU Communications. Not sure where to park? OSU Communications has got you covered with parking tips and bus schedule information. We'll be right back.
Determining your future by selecting a major can be difficult.
It's okay to be undecided.
Connect with the College of Arts and Sciences, where your options are endless.
Where you can uncover your passions and achieve your goals.
Express your creativity by exploring a career in the visual and performing arts.
Investigate new discoveries to make the world a better place with a career in science.
Advance knowledge, communicate progress, and contribute to a healthier planet with a career rooted in the social sciences.
Discover your career by looking at the world from different perspectives through the humanities.
Realize a better tomorrow through problem solving and mining data that can change lives.
CAST prepares you to succeed through internships, study abroad, student-guided research projects, and service activities.
With 109 majors, 52 minors, and 24 departments, the only thing missing is you. College of Arts and Sciences.
Connect.
Achieve. Succeed.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining my freedom back and my mobility back. This patient is saying thank you.
This spring, I invite you to shop in downtown Stillwater. Downtown Stillwater is home to locally owned shops, boutiques, eateries, and dependable professionals that you can trust. Find the perfect gift for your graduate, have a delicious meal with mom, or just stop in to enjoy great spring savings. By creating a demand for local goods and services, you can ensure a place for the local businesses that help give our community character and keep it unique. On behalf of Downtown Stillwater, thank you for shopping local.
Welcome into the bullpen here on One on One. You see Bryce Harper there walking up there, Barrett. A lot of fans cheering for him.
I know.
We're heating up here, where the takes are hot. The pitches are hot, excuse me, and the takes are hotter. How you doing today, Barrett?
Good.
That's good.
A lot of great weekend.
Great
a lot
weekend.
Of college basketball.
Good weekend if you're a Phillies fan, that's for sure.
Yeah. They had a huge standing ovation for him.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's gonna have.
They're all excited to see what happens.
Yeah, but
this is it.
You know, Philly, if he doesn't do too well,
they're gonna ostracize him real quick.
Yeah, they'll be. That'll be tough. So I don't know. We'll see how his career pans out in Philly.
Yeah.
I don't know how much they'll enjoy that contract within a few years, but
for now it's exciting.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
A lot of hype around it, and you know that's good for them. So he walks twice in his Phillies debut. Scores on a Rice Hoskins moonshot. I don't know if you saw that one. That was a dinger. But a bigger story that I saw from this was the 4 outfielder shift.
Yeah, that was weird. I've never seen anything like that.
It was used last year. I think the number was 64 times it was used last year. It didn't get a lot of.
Yeah,
it didn't get a lot of media attention because they weren't Bryce Harper. They weren't, you know.
I mean, Bryce said he's never seen anything like. He thought it was weird.
It's never been played against him before. Yeah.
So, it's a weird. I mean, obviously, it works. I'm sure it works. Mm-hmm. It's weird when you look at when you're looking at a baseball field. It just doesn't look right. Mm-hmm. But I mean, if it works, it works. Like, there's not much you can do about it. I mean, obviously there are some rules that were implemented or are looking to be implemented to maybe change that to prevent the the whole shift, because that's become a huge thing in baseball over the past, especially the past few years, and it's
gained more attention.
It really has, and it's affected a lot of hitters recently.
Yeah.
So
we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
But so if people don't know what the outfield shift is, the third baseman, Eric Sogard in this example, moved all the way to left field. They shifted the outfielders to the right, covering the whole outfield. And then they had the regular shift in the infield with the shortstop, the second baseman, and the first baseman, all on the right side of the infield, leaving this wide open area in the left side of the infield. And, that could be a defensive liability, on regular hitters. But on Bryce Harper, apparently, he never hits the ball to the left infield.
He doesn't.
He just doesn't.
Yeah, and the thing is, I mean, he's an incredible. He's not just. I feel like a lot of people, especially like last year, kind of see him as a power hitter. I mean, he is. He absolutely crushed the ball.
Don't get me wrong. He hits the ball to the left side of the field, but he's hitting it to the outfield.
Yeah.
He's not hitting ground balls to the left side of the infield.
But I feel like he definitely can. He's definitely
He could, yes.
good enough to. I don't know. I don't know what his issue is, but he just seems like no matter what, he's always looking to go for, especially last year, always looking to go for home runs.
That's not a bad thing.
I know, but a lot of times, watching a lot of Nationals games last year, the amount of times where, you got a runner on second base, 2 outs, and you just need a single, or like runners on second and third, and he's trying to hit, and he flies out to like right field instead of, hitting the ball on the ground and driving in a run, or like, I believe there's a scenario last year. It was like runner on third or runner on second, 1 out, and instead of trying to move the runner over or something, he just popped out to shallow right field instead of either hitting a ground ball and moving him over or advancing him with sacrifice. So he just always seems like he's trying to do too much.
All right, I see where you're coming with that. But so the Blue Jays manager refused to comment on the 4 outfielder shift. He didn't, I guess didn't want to talk about it. He just did it. But we got some talk from the Phillies lineup, especially Rhys Hoskins, his talking about how he would talk about how people would say, well, why not just hit the ball to the left side of the infield,
Yeah.
But he said that would change, even the Phillies manager, he said that would change Bryce's whole way he plays. That might even change his stance.
Yeah.
Which would then do what the defense wants, take away his power. So it's an odd situation. I don't know if we're going to see it more in the regular season against Bryce. This was just a spring training game. They like to experiment.
And what's interesting is, if you're Bryce Harper and they've got everyone lined up on the right side of the field and they're pitching you inside, it is incredibly difficult.
We're talking about it. It's not easy to hit a ball.
It is. And for a righty as well, if they're pitching you inside, it is very difficult to hit the ball hard on the ground opposite field.
Yeah.
So, you can't really just say hit it where they're not. Because it's not that easy.
Spot.
So, it was interesting to see. I wonder if we're going to see it more. I feel like we might see it more because the shift has become such a almost essential part. You see,
especially against lefties.
Used. Yeah, you see it used so much recently. So I would imagine that you would see something like that.
Yeah.
More for him throughout the year.
The regular shift was used on Bryce Harper 52% of his plate appearances, so maybe we will see it a little more. Now let's move on to these new rules. And Ben, I'm a little bit of a traditionalist. I don't like change when it comes to my games, but I hear that you like change.
I don't like big changes.
Okay.
But I don't think any of these are super huge.
Some of them are pretty big.
Some of them are fair, and I don't necessarily agree with all of them. But like for example, the first one, umpire will be assisted by a radar system that tracks for balls land in the strike zone.
A robot umpire.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
Thank you.
It's called TrackMan.
TrackMan. It is called. That's a interesting name.
And I disagree with that. I think, obviously, you want to get the calls right, but at the same time, human error, umpire error has been, it's a part of every sport.
It's a part of the game.
It's part of the game. It's been a part of the sport
They're gonna ruin the art of catching.
Yeah.
Everyone loves a good frame.
Exactly. So
people train to frame. They train hours.
It takes away a pretty big part of it, and it takes away a lot of the strategy with, like, if you're a pitcher and you slowly start, like, if you're pitching well and you're hitting the corner, you can slowly expand that strike zone.
Yeah.
And with the robot, that's not happening. So I disagree with that.
I'm going to throw you the next one, and we were just talking about it, actually. A ban on using the infield shift.
This one's tough because if you do ban it, it'll probably increase run, like the amount of runs per game. It'll just all around, there'll just be more hits. I'm kind of a toss-up. If I had to pick, I would say I mostly agree with it because shifts have gotten a little ridiculous. I think.
Okay, well, I don't know. It's a strategy game, Barrett.
I know it's strategy, but if you're packing everyone on one side of the field and then throwing the ball inside because you know the ball's going there, it's just kind of defeating the purpose of, like, there's just nothing they can really do unless you're incredibly talented and you can go opposite field constantly. I just feel like it's better for the game. And maybe defense, like strategy-wise, it's probably better to have the shift because, you know, you can use that to your advantage. But for the game and for the watchability, I think
you play to win the game, Barrett.
I know, but
the shift wins.
But
helps
the MLB
games. It's a
is
fact.
there to make money, and they need people to watch, and people are not going to watch if there's 50,000 flyouts. So
now we're gonna go right next to it. So pitchers must face a minimum of 3 batters before being pulled.
100% agree.
That's a good. That's not. I'm not gonna go outright and disagree.
I agree with this one because it's just frustrating seeing constantly just pitchers coming in for one batter. I mean, I can kind of understand if you're in the 9th inning and you have, you know, you bring someone in for 2 batters and bring a lefty in for the last guy.
Because he's a lefty.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of makes sense. But the rule kind of is, for me, is more towards, you know, those middle innings, like 6th, 7th inning, when your starter's already out, and you end up using, like, 11 pitchers because you can, you know?
Yeah.
So I think this is a good idea, and also it would change the strategy a lot too because you'd be able to look at you'd have to say, you know, I'm not just bringing him in for the next batter, I'm bringing him for the next 3, so I really got to pick out who I want to face the next 3 guys. So I think that'd be interesting.
Like again, I'm gonna say a strategy game.
Yeah.
You know, I like more pitchers. I like the idea of I like the Brewers and the Rockies putting their bullpen in to start playoff games.
That is interesting. That's pretty cool.
I like when owners think outside the box, and I don't like it when the game tries to stop them from thinking outside the box, I guess you could say. Now, another significant one would be this would only be in the second half of the season, but a drastic modification with the distance from the pitching rubber to home plate will increase by 2 feet.
This just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I understand it's meant to cut down
more
strikeouts.
Strikeouts, I guess, more arm power.
But it's just, it's unnecessary, I think. I think if you're going to do the rule with the, you know, minimum number of batters and the shift, I think this isn't necessary.
Yeah. I don't really see a need for it, to be honest with you, but it's going to happen. It was already reached with an agreement with the MLB.
Yeah, I think I'm
going to be seeing a game.
And it's going to throw off pitchers a lot.
It'll throw off pitchers. I'm going to be seeing one of these games. I'm going to be, shout out to the Long Island Ducks in the Atlantic League. I'm going to be stopping by. I'm going to see how I feel about these new rules and how they're implemented.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. But, and obviously the last couple, the base size increasing, there's not really anything wrong with that. I think that's just more for safety issues, I feel like. And then the time in between innings shortening.
I don't know how that's going to work with like TV contracts.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't know how. Well, I don't even know if the Atlantic League's televised. If I'm going to be honest with you,
it'll be interesting.
Well, I mean, 30 seconds decrease. I mean, I guess it would affect the warm-ups. I'm not really. Besides that, I don't really see anything wrong with it. I guess I could agree with this one a little bit, but other than that, I mean, all these rules, I am not here for them.
Yeah, I like most of them. I have to admit. I think baseball needs to change if they want to keep up with some other
change.
Sports. Yeah.
I don't like change. Looks like the skipper's walking out to the mound. Time for a pitcher change here on One on One. Thanks for watching. Jason Cliccio and Barrett Guess. Shout out to Taylor Hearn, by the way. See you guys. I'm going to give you a week off, 2 weeks off, Barrett. I'll see you in 2 weeks on Monday.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Thanks for watching.
One on One is brought to you by Oklahoma Christian University. Get your master's degree in accounting, business administration, theology, engineering, computer science, or cybersecurity from Oklahoma Christian University. Apply at oc.edu/grad. Oklahoma University is committed to offering the best graduate school experience we possibly can. Come learn and grow with us. And The Table. Stop by The Table on Thursdays at 8 p.m. to join their Bible study. Shoot Rachel an email at rachel@thetableosu.com for more information. We'll be right back.
my mind, I was never going to walk right again. Before we were through, we had walked 23 steps. And that was my first steps of freedom. This patient is saying thank you.
Welcome back to One-on-One on Sunday Channel 112, live from Studio 318. Logan, there's a lot going on in the NBA. We'll get to the Lakers here in just a little bit. Let's start with the Golden State Warriors. They lose to the Phoenix Suns for the first time in 18 games, a 115-111 loss. Devin Booker, 37 points. And Kevin Durant has to leave with I believe a right ankle contusion. Steve Kerr's, we're reading his lips. I'm so tired of Draymond. What's going on with the Golden State Warriors?
I think they're tired of the regular season. I don't want to say the end is near, but I think at least the end of this Warriors team that has Kevin Durant on it is close to being over. I think the regular season, what is it? This will be 4 straight if they go.
Yeah.
That's a lot on one team. Like LeBron went to 7 straight, but he did it on 2.
5 straight, right?
What?
This would be 5 straight, right?
This actually, yeah, you're right. This would be 5. It would be 4 straight if they won it. So yeah, 5 straight. And that wears on guys. LeBron was able to do it with 2 different teams. He was able to go back to Cleveland, obviously, and get with some guys that hadn't been there before, and he took them there, and they became more experienced. But even at the end of that, it was like there was a chance they weren't going to make it if it weren't for LeBron James. So I think we're just seeing the fatigue of playing into June for 5 straight years. You know, the Durant free agency stuff is looming over this team as it has all season. And I think they're bored. You know, they play for April, May, and June. They don't play for November, even March. They don't try their hardest at this time. But I can't chalk it up to being the end of the Warriors, but I think there's a chance we won't see this exact roster next year.
Well, certainly.
I guess I forgot about Boogie. He definitely won't be there.
I mean, they lost to the Heat, obviously, the Dwayne Wade buzzer beater.
Yeah.
Then they lose to the Magic. Then they beat the 76ers. Then they lose to the Celtics. Then they beat the Nuggets, 122-105, then lose to the Suns. They play the Rockets in 2 nights from today, Wednesday night. So they get a few days off. But they're still beating the top teams in the league.
That's what I was going to say.
It just...
Besides the Celtics, they beat the 3 best opponents that you just listed.
Yeah, I mean,
they get up to play when they need to.
I don't understand. It's weird for me when they go through kind of turmoil like this. And we've seen earlier in the year, the locker room was essentially on fire. There was smoke everywhere, and then it kind of got better.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing it again. Now what's interesting to me is Klay Thompson's kind of going after the fans. And that's weird to me because he's usually the guy that doesn't really say anything. I mean, he signed a toaster, right? He's the guy that is calm, cool, and relaxed, and even he seems a bit agitated. That would worry me a little bit if I was Steve Kerr and the Warriors.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess you can be worried a little bit, but they can fix it. They have the ability to flip that switch and play their best basketball when they need to. They've figured out how to win championships. And I mean, you look at last year, down the stretch, they lost to the Kings, to the Pacers, the Bucks, the Pacers again, the Pelicans, the Jazz. They lost to a lot of not great teams down the stretch last year. It's just I don't know if they're saving themselves for the playoffs, but I think there's obviously something going on there. And I think the main source of what's driving these guys crazy, and you're getting these comments from Klay about the fans and all that, is it's Durant's free agency. I think they all know he has a foot out the door. He's looking to go somewhere else, and that bothers them, and I can understand why. It can be frustrating if you have to work with a guy every day, but you feel like he's not giving 100% because he's looking at where he's going to be next instead of where he is right now.
Well, they're only a game and a half ahead of Denver. Only
Right.
4 games, I guess, outside of Houston. Remarkable comeback for the Rockets, by the way, because they started out on very rocky territory. The Thunder, Logan, if they wouldn't have been, and I'll be quite honest, if they wouldn't have sucked the last, since the All-Star break, really, they started off with a nice win over the Jazz, but since then, they've only won a couple times. If they would have been mediocre, they would be right here with the Denver Nuggets for the 2 seed, within striking distance of the 1 seed. But they've had the weeks they've had. Is there a real threat to Golden State in the West? Because we can talk about, well, maybe if they get to the finals.
I don't even think there's a threat in the East. I think if there is a threat, it's in the West. And maybe it's Houston. I don't think it's Denver, and I don't think it's OKC anymore. Earlier in the year, I thought it could be OKC just the way they're playing. But like the Warriors, they have not played very good basketball, and they don't know how to turn it on. They can't flip that switch like the Warriors can. So I don't know if they're really a threat. Houston has kind of proven themselves to not be a threat. We saw they can handle them last year, and I know Chris Paul got injured, but you know what happens every year, Reed? Chris Paul gets injured.
Yeah.
Chris Paul cannot stay healthy at the end of the year.
A tradition like any other. The Warriors winning a title and Chris Paul getting hurt. By the way, Peckinpah still owes me a cupcake last year.
That's true.
The Warriors did not beat the Rockets.
The Rockets did not beat the Warriors.
The Warriors did beat the Rockets, which was obviously not guaranteed, according to some people around here. But it happened. Shocker. It took 7 games, but it happened. So I'll be looking forward to that. He's going to have a lot of time over spring break to go get one. So let's transition into the Southern California. I just want you to read the Stephen A. Smith hot take, or I'll read it to you rather, and then we can get into what's going on. You can laugh, just have your natural reaction to this. Stephen A. Lakers are becoming the Mets, Clippers the Yankees. No.
What?
No.
What?
No.
What?
No.
Does he know that the Clippers they only have 6 more wins on the season? And I know
it doesn't matter.
The Clippers are the laughingstock of sports until they got this new ownership group. That's hilarious. I can't believe he said that. But
the Mets, look, Jason's from New York. He could explain this better than me.
God bless
obviously.
Bobby Bonilla
but
Day.
The label, the NY, the right NY on a hat, the pinstripes are baseball's logo.
Yeah.
Those are represented all over the world. People know the New York Yankees, whether they're winning or losing. People want to. I have never once said, I want to go to New York. I really want to see Citi Field. I just dying just to go to Queens. No. I want to go to Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not the old Yankee Stadium, but I want to see where legends played.
Yeah.
Or at least in the same area. I don't care about the Mets. I don't want to go see the Clippers play. I want to see the Lakers play. It's a brand.
Yeah.
I don't care. The Clippers could win 10 straight NBA titles.
Which they won't.
No.
Never.
And it would still be the Showtime Lakers. They own Hollywood. Stephen A. is out of his mind.
Even when the Lakers were awful, I mean, before this.
They're going to miss the playoffs for the 6th straight year.
Yeah, and the Clippers were Lob City and potentially never going to a conference finals, but they had that hype. They had that potential around them. It was still Lakers. It was all about the Lakers. The Lakers tickets were still more expensive than the Clippers tickets. Fans still wore Lakers jerseys instead of Clippers jerseys. The Clippers are they're the team that if you live in LA and you want to go to get season tickets, you get Clippers tickets because they're just cheaper. And it's still LA.
LeBron chose the Lakers over the Clippers. He would choose he's a Yankees fan actually.
Yeah.
Well, and then he was in the Cleveland Press. That's a whole different story. But to the Lakers themselves, Brandon Ingram out for the season.
Yeah.
Lonzo Ball out for the season. We know they're going to put LeBron on a minutes restriction, maybe not play back-to-back. Ingram has the arm-shoulder injury that has been hindering him, so they're going to sit him. Lonzo Ball can't recover from that ankle sprain, apparently, that he's missed since January.
Yeah.
Are the Lakers tanking?
Absolutely. Absolutely. LeBron is next. I believe whenever Brandon Ingram got shut down, I told you Lonzo's next, and then LeBron's next. They just have to lose a couple of more, and he's out. He's done.
Yeah, Rondo's saying when it rains, it pours. Yeah, the Lakers are. Then now they have a better chance now to get Lonzo, right? Or not to get Lonzo, to get
a top 3 pick than they do to make the playoffs.
Than they do the playoffs. There's your favorite guy, Dana White, sitting courtside. By the way, your favorite.
I blame him for the Lakers' troubles. I blame Dana White for everything.
So do you fully? It's not even an argument. You completely think the Lakers are tanking to go get Zion? Or
I don't know if they're tanking to get him, because I don't know how great their odds are to get the number 1 pick, but they're going for someone. They're going, and I don't think they're gonna. I think they're gonna get the guy and immediately trade him. I don't think whoever they draft with this high pick is not going to be in LA. I about said Cleveland. Is not going to be in LA for long, because LeBron doesn't like to play with those guys. We saw what happened to Andrew Wiggins. He barely got to Cleveland, and he was already heading to Minnesota for Kevin Love when LeBron came home. So I think they're trying to get as high draft pick as possible, as good of an asset as possible to put together with Brandon Ingram, Lonzo, or Kuzma, some combination of those 3 guys to get Anthony Davis. Because for me, that's the only way they can get a leg up on the Celtics, is if they can get a guy like a Zion, a R.J. Barrett, Cam Reddish, Ja Morant, one of these guys that has great potential. Because otherwise, they don't have anything better than what the Celtics can offer them.
Right. It will be interesting to see, but I mean, it's completely obvious what they're doing now.
Yeah.
30 and 36. They're so done with this season. A guy who really is done with the season all the time because the season never starts, and that's James Dolan, the owner of the New York Knicks. He had a fan banned from Madison Square Garden because, and it's not, he had the fan kicked out, but that's their policy that if you get kicked out, you're banned.
Yeah.
So it's not guaranteed that this guy's been banned, but if you look at the rules and how MSG responded, it looks like he's gone.
He's gone.
All he said was sell the team. What is James Dolan doing? I mean, this guy kicks people out left and right.
Yeah.
I mean, he got in a fight basically with Charles Oakley, a legend. Is he that thin-skinned that he cannot take a sell the team?
Absolutely. I don't know why he owns the team. Like, he doesn't care. I think he just likes to be able to go to the games. He likes owning MSG. He likes his jazz band. But I feel like the Knicks are just an annoyance for him, because anytime you hear about the Knicks and James Dolan, it's negative. I've never heard one positive thing about what James Dolan has done for the Knicks. And I think that actually bothers him. That's why he overreacted in this way. Like, you could just, what's he worth, Reed?
Well, he's
probably
at least worth $5 billion,
yeah,
because in the I mean, he's probably worth north of 10 billion. I don't know,
yeah,
because he owns MSG too, which is a ginormous company.
Absolutely,
he owns a lot, and he has the most valuable NBA franchise.
And that guy that said that to him, I don't know his financial situation, but I'm gonna guess he's not as well off as James Dolan.
Probably not.
James Dolan could have just walked to the tunnel to some executive suite and laughed, but no, he had to get a little sensitive and got the guy banned. I don't know how you can have a worse public image than James Dolan if you're a sports owner.
$5.6 billion, so that's a lot. I don't know how accurate that is, but anyways, we're going to take a quick break, come back and talk about everything good that happened in Oklahoma State Athletics. It was a good weekend for the Cowboys and Cowgirls. We'll be right back after this.
One-on-One is brought to you by Oklahoma Air National Guard. Contact Oklahoma Air National Guard at 800-GO-TO-ANG or visit their website at goang.com/OK for more information about how to get 100% college tuition. And Unitarian Universalist Church. If you're looking for a church home, visit Unitarian Universalist Church of Stillwater, located at 320 South Stallard Street. They offer an alternative spiritual path and welcome all races, religions, and beliefs. They're also LGBTQ friendly. Services every Sunday at 10:30. We'll be right back.
Stillwater Medical Center now offers a convenient way to view your health information online. It's secure, easy, and free. Our hospital and clinic patient portals allow you to view results and reports, medications and allergies, track visit histories, view upcoming appointment information, and see your statements. To enroll, go to stillwatermedical.com and click on the patient portal link near the top right of the page. If you have questions, please feel free to call 405-533-6010.
Welcome into one-on-one. As you saw there, the Oklahoma State Cowboy wrestling team celebrating their 7th consecutive conference title, 158 team points. That's 43.5 points above the next team, the Iowa State Cyclones. They had the team title secured going into the final round. They had 7 of 10 weights in the finals. They won 6 of those weights, coming home with 6 Big 12 champions. Nick Piccinini at 125 gets his 3rd title. Dayton Fix at 133 gets his first of, I would think, probably 4 Big 12 titles.
Yeah.
Caden Gfell at 149 gets the title. Jacoby Smith, his first one at 174. Preston Weigel gets his 3rd at 197, and Derek White, 285 heavyweight, gets his 2nd Big 12 title. A very, very successful weekend for the Oklahoma State Cowboys.
Absolutely. And we talked with Wade about this on Friday. This is kind of what we expected, you know. We expected a team title. We expected a lot of individual titles. I guess I expected more individual titles. But great weekend. You know, you can look at that as a team and get ready for when you go to Ohio. It's really encouraging, you know. This is obviously the most successful program we have at this school, at least this year, and definitely in history as well. So, you know, good showing. I can't wait to have Wade on probably on Friday to talk about what's going to be happening. It's this weekend or next weekend is Nationals.
2 weeks, I believe. 2 weeks for Nationals. So it's going to be an interesting. I don't know that they could. As you see, Caden there really was impressive in that. And a lot of Dayton Fix at 133 and Nick Piccinini at 125. It's not like they dominated. Derek White and Preston Weigel dominated.
Yeah.
Derek White got the tech fall 20-5. Preston gets a 10-0 win. But Jacoby Smith 164. Caden 165. Dayton 4-2. And Nick Piccinini with just a 2-0 win.
Yeah.
So, and obviously Cade Brock got pinned pretty quickly in 54 seconds to Dom Demas from that school down south. But, you know, he reached the finals. So, I mean, it was a successful weekend for the Oklahoma State Cowboys, but now you can turn your attention to that. You really got to practice because you can't have these 2-point wins at Nationals. And obviously, I think, you know, reaching their way up there and the way they go with that is, you know, Nationals, you're going to be wrestling people that are lesser than you.
Yeah.
I mean, Dayton Fix isn't losing in the first round. I mean, I wouldn't think. I don't think Dayton Fix thinks that either. And I don't think many people think that of Dayton Fix. And Nick Piccinini, but you got to score a lot of tech falls. You got to pin people. You got to score bonus points because you're trying to secure that team title. Obviously, individually, all these guys want to win a national title, and that's what makes wrestling so special. Is it's kind of like golf in a way, but you know, it's you want that individual. You play for yourself, and then you play for your team. But Penn State, we're looking at this team title. They've got a target on their back. They've won 7 of the last 8, I believe. They're a bonus point scoring machine. They rack up ridiculous amounts of team points. So that's where Oklahoma State has got to look at this. John Smith said last night they're going to have some upsets if they want to pull this thing off. It's going to be difficult, but I think that they've got the attitude, and I think they have the wrestlers to go win a national title. Be optimistic, Logan.
I know they do, but it's so hard to bet against Penn State. Like you said, they've been so dominant as a team. I certainly think we have some individual national champions on this team probably, but I want to say they can win the team title, but I can't yet. I'll have to watch a couple matches, and that's kind of a chicken thing to do, you know. But I can't pick against Penn State.
Penn State won obviously the Big Ten Wrestling Championship. They had 157 team points, so 1 point behind the Oklahoma State Cowboys. And number 2 was 122. Iowa finished 3rd, 107. So
they have a much better conference as well.
Yeah, Ohio State, Iowa, Michigan, Nebraska. Yeah, they're Rutgers even. I mean, yeah. The Big Ten's a much better wrestling conference right now, but They had 4 individual champions. The Cowboys had 6, but they've got a lot going for them. Obviously, you would think the Cowboys do, but it's going to be difficult. But I think, John Smith and the Cowboys haven't had this in a long time. This is the best team they've had in a long time. We'll, as you mentioned, hopefully get Wade on at some point this week and talk about, because we're going on spring break.
Right.
He will not be here. But the Cowboys really have to make a push, get those bonus points, and they know that. Obviously, they know more than we do. They got to figure it out. It's going to be difficult, but nothing in sports is easy, especially when you're trying to win a national champion. I think that they have the wrestlers to do it, but it all depends on how things go down in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'll be watching. I want to say they can do it, but I'm not sure.
Well,
Penn State's really good.
The only time they went head-to-head with Penn State, really, at least as a team, was at the Southern Scuffle, and Penn State finished 1, the Cowboys finished 2nd. So they've got a little taste of that, but we will see. But it was a great weekend for Oklahoma State athletics, because you did get the Cowboys win that Big 12 title. You had the golf team raising that national championship banner in Galgariba, and the Oklahoma State Cowboys swept West Virginia. They did not finish last.
They did not.
Big 12.
Next to last. They finished right in front of West Virginia.
But to all those media members who picked Oklahoma State last, you were wrong for the 2nd year in a row.
Just barely.
2nd year in a row. They sweep West Virginia, a good 85-77 win for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Lindy Waters drops 19, Yor 16. As I said, they didn't finish last. But here's something incredible, I think, Logan. Oklahoma State shot 11 to 24 from three-point range.
Mm-hmm.
They shot 30 to 16 from 50% from there. If they can shoot that way, the way they shot down in Texas Tech against Kansas, they're going to be impressive going down the stretch if they can shoot this way next year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think they're only going to get better. I mean, a lot of young guys. Isaac Likely had a great game. I believe he had a career-high 9 assists. Yorenay was awesome today. He had so many blocks. I think he actually broke the freshman block record in this game. So a lot of bright future. Obviously, you keep Dzagwa, McGriff, and Lindy for next year, and you're bringing in that great recruiting class. And if Isaac Likely can learn to shoot and just figure out how to be a decent spot-up shooter of some kind, they're going to be a team to deal with for a long time in the Big 12. So don't think they're going to finish last next year. Obviously, they didn't finish last this year and the year before that either. So I hope they keep picking us to finish last, because they just keep on being wrong.
Well, helps on the way. The Boone Twins win a state championship for Memorial over the weekend, and they were obviously a large part of that. There's a bright future coming up for the Cowboys. I wouldn't be worried here if I was Oklahoma State. I don't think they're finishing 9th in the Big 12 next year. Mike Boynton is doing a phenomenal job. Got to be excited if you're an Oklahoma State fan. But they win. They're going to play TCU, I believe, starting Wednesday night. Tip off against TCU. So we will see there. So it's not completely over. Still have postseason play. OSU baseball goes 2-1 in the Dodger Classic. They beat UCLA 11-6 on Friday. They followed it. Now, the number 2 team in the country, baseball team, UCLA. So it's not like that's a devastating loss.
And it was a close loss.
Right. And it's 3-6 loss there to the Bruins at Jackie Robinson Stadium. And then you go into Dodger Stadium and you beat Michigan 3-2 on a walk home to give them the lead in the top of the ninth. So that's a great weekend for Oklahoma State. You go 2-1, you essentially win a series, although you're playing 3 teams. If you can pick up 2 out of 1 now. We talked about what the lesser you need to sweep, but you go pick 2 out of 1 in LA against USC, UCLA, and Michigan. You got to be pretty happy for Coach Holiday.
Yeah.
And the Cowgirls were also on the West Coast. They're out in Eugene, Oregon. The number 24 team, they sweep.
They dominated.
Straight sweep for the Cowgirls. So you got to be. For Coach Gajewski, there's not much to complain about right now. They're sitting here at 18-5. There's still, I believe, 27 games left.
They
play so many.
It's a long season.
In softball. Well, a lot in baseball, too, but it feels like a lot more in softball. So, that good weekend all around for Oklahoma State athletics. As I said, the Cowgirls, not so good news. They lost by 10 to Kansas in the first round of the Big 12 championship. So, their season is officially over.
Yeah, and I mean, the boys basketball team is probably going to be over in not that much longer. I believe we match up with I just forgot. I can't remember who we match up with. TCU. Yeah, thank you. So the TCU seem to have had our number all year, so probably not going to be able to pull off that victory.
Well, he split the series. He lost at the
Yeah.
buzzer down in Fort Worth. So there's some potential.
There is. I don't know.
Well, we're going to take a 47-hour break, come back and talk about everything going on in national sports and what's going on here in Stillwater. Thanks for watching. We'll see you Wednesday.
Determining your future by selecting a major can be difficult.
It's okay to be undecided.
Connect with the College of Arts and Sciences, where your options are endless.
Where you can uncover your passions and achieve your goals.
Express your creativity by exploring a career in the visual and performing arts.
Investigate new discoveries to make the world a better place with a career in science.
Advance knowledge, communicate progress, and contribute to a healthier planet with a career rooted in the social sciences.
Discover your career by looking at the world from different perspectives through the humanities.
Realize a better tomorrow through problem solving and mining data that can change lives.
CAS prepares you to succeed through internships, study abroad, student-guided research projects, and service activities.
With 109 majors, 52 minors, and 24 departments, the only thing missing is you. College of Arts and Sciences.
Connect.
Achieve. Succeed.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining my freedom back and my mobility back. This patient is saying thank you.
This spring, I invite you to shop in downtown Stillwater. Downtown Stillwater is home to locally owned shops, boutiques, eateries, and dependable professionals that you can trust. Find the perfect gift for your graduate, have a delicious meal with mom, or just stop in to enjoy great spring savings. By creating a demand for local goods and services, you can ensure a place for the local businesses that help give our community character and keep it unique. On behalf of Downtown Stillwater, thank you for shopping local.